So a question is asked, when is the right time to develop a leadership successor? The right time to develop a leadership successor is at the very moment you step into an office as a leader, because a leader without a successor is a wasted leader. And you need to develop a leadership successor, somebody who succeeds from you, who takes over from you. It is critical. So from the day-to-day activity, you are imbibing in that would-be leader what values he needs to come with. This is what we are lacking in this part of the world today, which is why at the Rebirth-Centre Leadership School, we are trying to inculcate these values right on time for leaders and would-be leaders who may not have assumed the position of leadership. But we have always said also that even in your home front, you are a leader. In the work you do, you are a leader. So you don't need to wait for one special time. That is why I said the very moment you step into an office, you know you need to develop a successor. Because when leadership is not sustained, it's a failed leadership. And it takes a successor to start from where one stops. That is why it's important that the culture of developing a leadership successor is a must for every leader. It's critical. Then how can we resolve the challenge of leadership? How can we resolve the challenge of leadership? It's critical to know how, because basically the lack of how to do things has affected our leadership in this part of the world. So it is also our conscious effort at Rebirth-Centre Leadership School to train people on the how. The Bible speaking in Ecclesiastes 10:15, it said, the labor of the foolish wearieth every one of them, for they do not know how to go into the city. So the how is very key, which is why we pay a lot of premium on knowing the how to do things. So a leader is the one that knows the way, like we have defined earlier. He aligned others to suit the direction that will bring the expected outcome. So the challenges that plague us today as a country, as a continent, they are enormous, but they are surmountable, which is why training and retraining of leaders is a critical wake-up call. And that's what we are doing in our own corner at the Rebirth-Centre Leadership School. And to the glory of God, we have trained quite a number of people who are blazing the trail in their different walks of life today. So we also using this opportunity to let people know that, look, a man that is trained is a man that is equipped to engage tomorrow. When you are not trained, you become obsolete, because we are in a changing world today where the things you knew yesterday, they are not good enough to manage today. So the need for constant training is a wake-up call. And that's one of the ways we can, brace up to resolve the challenges of our times today. Now, how have you demonstrated effective leadership? In our little way, at the Rebirth-Centre Leadership School, with our faculty of well-bred citizens from this country, from far and near, we've been able to inculcate those values that we believe that they are critical. They are critical for the mass, emancipation and the mass liberation of citizens to know what is expected of them, and not just knowing it and engaging with that know-how. Because the knowledge you don't engage is a wasted knowledge. So we train these leaders and release them to the world to go and train others by, affecting their world positively. Today, one of the critical questions that every Nigerian wake up to ask is, where is our own leadership? Leadership at the national, leadership at the subnational, leadership at the local government, leadership even at the community level. Is it at the church level or at the public space? Leadership is largely seen as absent. So we are consciously reconstructing that narrative to, impart citizens across board that you have inherent ability in you to lead. So we have demonstrated this over time. 7 years now, the Rebirth-Centre LSD has been able to, train leaders day and night And we've also seen the impact from their testimonies wherever they find themselves. A question is also asked, what are the consequences of bad leadership? The consequence of bad leadership is what we see today in Nigeria. From successive administration, from military dictatorship to civilian rule that has been on since 1999 today, 24 years down the line, from successive administration, we've seen bad governance. Though we practice democracy, but more of what we see is dictatorship, autocracy, the tenets of democracy not practiced. Those are the consequences that we are seeing today. So bad leadership consequences are enormous. The insecurity that we see today is a result of bad leadership. The excruciating hardship Nigerians are faced with today is a consequence of bad leadership. A good leader will envisage what will happen in the coming days, and he put up programs to address such happenings if they come, particularly in the negative. So people often ask me, as a leadership, coach, that what are the values of Nigeria today? Like we usually talk about the American value. Where American come first? Do we have such value in Nigeria today? I don't know of any. Which is why I turned up for President Tinubu recently when he set up a committee of 9 to come and recalibrate the Nigerian values. So we wait to see those values, then they are legislated upon and they become the norm in society. Let's know the Nigerian value, just as Americans have their own value. Let's have the Nigerian value, and that's what drives every citizen of this country. Until we come to terms with that reality, we are not ready for the new ship. But I trust God completely that with what we are doing at the center, Value Rebirth-Centre Leadership School, and so many other, well-meaning organizations that are also working in that the same objective and goal, I see that in the coming years, Nigeria will be a place where they value our citizens, value the natural resources and the minerals God has endowed in us, and we apply those values on our everyday life to better the lots of the citizenry. So that we can put an end to corruption, to nepotism, to avarice, to bad governance across board. That citizens will know exactly that Nigeria is a place to be. And by extension, everyone across the globe will be gravitating towards Nigeria.